There is a paradox that defines our time. We carry the sum of all human knowledge in our pockets. We can summon the answer to any question in milliseconds. We are connected to everyone, everywhere, all at once. By all metrics, we should be the sharpest, most informed generation to ever walk the earth. But look around you. We are seeing the opposite. We are witnessing the rise of a phenomenon that neuroscientists call cognitive offloading. It starts simply. You stop remembering phone numbers because your contacts list does it for you. Then you stop remembering directions because the GPS guides you turn by turn. Then you stop remembering basic historical facts because Google is always there. It feels like convenience. It feels like efficiency. But Marshall McLuhan, the great media theorist, warned us about this decades ago. He said that every extension of our body is also an amputation. When you invent the wheel, you extend the foot, but you eventually amputate the ability to walk long distances. When you invent the GPS, you extend your vision, but you amputate your internal sense of orientation. And now, we have extended our brain into the digital cloud. And the result is the amputation of our ability to think. We are not just distracted, we are becoming cognitively dependent. If the internet went down tomorrow, it wouldn't just be an inconvenience. For most people, it would be a lobotomy. They wouldn't just lose their data, they would lose their ability to navigate the world, to recall their past, and to make decisions. We have outsourced our executive functions to a machine, and like any muscle that is no longer used, the mind is beginning to wither. You often hear a modern lie repeated in schools and workplaces. Why memorize anything when you can just look it up? It sounds logical. Why waste brain space on facts? Here is why that logic is dangerous. Thinking true, deep, creative thinking is not about retrieving data. It is about synthesis. It is about connecting two disparate ideas to create a third, new idea. But here is the catch. You cannot connect ideas that you do not have. If all your knowledge is stored on a server in California and not in your own neurons, you cannot ruminate on it. You cannot turn it over in your mind while you are driving or showering. You cannot have that sudden flash of insight because the raw materials for that insight are not inside you. We are becoming information terminals. We process data, but we do not store wisdom. We read a headline, we react, and we forget. We watch a video, we feel something, and we scroll. Nothing sticks. Nothing creates a foundation. This is why we see a generation that is incredibly quick to react, but incredibly slow to understand context. They have access to the facts of World War II, but they lack the internal historical framework to understand why it happened. They have the data, but no wisdom. A mind without memory is not a computer. It is just a sieve. Everything passes through, but nothing remains to nourish the soul. Consider the GPS. 20 years ago, if you drove to a new city, you had to look at a map. You had to build a mental model of the territory. You had to understand the north is here, the river is there, the highway connects these 2 points. You engaged with the world. Today you type in an address and you obey a voice. Turn left in 200 feet. You don't know where you are. You don't know north from south. You are simply following instructions. You arrive at your destination, but you have learned nothing about the journey. Now apply this to your life. We use intellectual GPS for everything. Instead of wrestling with a difficult moral dilemma, we check the comments section to see what the correct opinion is. Instead of deciding what movie is good, we check the Rotten Tomatoes score. Instead of deciding who to vote for based on policy, we look at what our algorithmic tribe is posting. We are terrified of getting lost. We are terrified of the uncertainty of thinking for ourselves, so we outsource our judgment to the consensus. We let the algorithm tell us what to be angry about today. We let the influencers tell us what success looks like. We are arriving at conclusions we did not earn. We are repeating opinions we did not form. We are walking through life following a blue line on a screen, completely blind to the territory around us. Thinking is an act of defiance. It requires you to detach from the noise and sit with your own mind. But the most connected generation has lost the ability to be alone. And I don't mean physically alone, I mean mentally alone. Even when we are in the bathroom, we are scrolling. Even when we are in bed, we are watching. There is never a gap. There is never a moment of silence where a thought can form without external influence. This constant connection creates a hive mind. When you are plugged in 24/7, your thoughts start to synchronize with the feed. You start using the same vocabulary as everyone else. You start caring about the same trivial dramas as everyone else. You lose the jagged edges of your individuality. True thinking requires solitude. It requires the discomfort of silence. It requires you to sit with a problem until your brain hurts. But we have built a world that offers an escape hatch from that pain. The moment thinking gets hard, we pick up the phone. The moment we feel bored, we seek distraction. We are losing the ability to think simply because we have lost the ability to sit still. The danger is not that machines will begin to think like humans. The danger is that humans will begin to think like machines. Predictable, programmed, input-output. But you are not a machine, you are a consciousness, and you can reclaim your ability to think. But it requires a conscious rebellion against convenience. It means choosing the hard way. It means driving somewhere without the GPS, just to force your brain to map the world again. It means reading a book and refusing to look up a summary, forcing yourself to wrestle with the text. It means memorizing a poem, a phone number, a list, just to prove to your brain that it is still a storage device, not just a processor. It means sitting in a room for 30 minutes with no phone, no music, no input, and facing the chaos of your own mind until it settles into order. Thinking is a muscle. If you don't use it, it doesn't just rest, it dies. Don't let your mind become a vestigial organ. Don't let the algorithm become your executive function. Cut the wire. Ignore the consensus. Trust your own internal compass, because in a world of automated minds, the person who can think for themselves is the most dangerous and powerful person in the room.